This hangout on air is live. Thank you for joining us at OreAni Summer Season Lineup Part 2 for 2016. Now, we kind of had a little break from last week because, special events, vacations, having fun. We kind of ran behind on a few titles, so we didn't want to just give you guys information on half-baked things that we didn't know about. So we spent this whole week catching up to tell you all the great anime we missed last time. With us today, we got Jessica.
Hello.
And Nick.
Hi. I was just laughing because you're like all the great anime we didn't talk about in the first video, where we try to talk about the actually great anime for the most part.
Yeah, that Fundanshi, whatever anime.
I dare you guys to watch it.
I almost did, but then I was like, I gotta go to work.
Excuses.
So thank you everyone for joining us.
Would we get a reverse dare you to watch something?
We are running a little bit late, but that's okay. We're just having fun today. So today are just a few titles that didn't make it into our top, titles of the season. So we're going to give you as much information, and you can make your decision based on that if you want to watch it or not. And I'm actually very interested in some of these titles because I didn't pick up some of them, and I'd like to hear about them. First one up is Battery. All I know about this is it's about baseball.
And not about electricity, which always throws me off.
So Jessica,
the term, the term, I did not know this before starting the show, but apparently it refers to the matchup between a pitcher and a catcher. Mm-hmm. And they form a battery, and I guess that's it. The thing that I really like about this one is that the main character is really, really good at the sport. In middle school, he was an ace player. He's one of the best pitchers in the prefecture. So there's none of the typical sports anime, this is how you play baseball. It just goes in with everybody knows how to play baseball, and it works more on the emotions of the characters than actual competition at this point. Now, later on in the show, it may do more with the competition, but I haven't gotten... I think I've watched 3 episodes, so...
So is this all the other anime baseball titles where it's the main character is the pitcher?
I haven't watched enough of those to be able to say.
But is the main character in this show the pitcher?
Oh, yeah. The main character is the pitcher. Yeah. And then his friend, who's probably going to be his best friend eventually, is the catcher. And it's just about they play for different reasons, and they both have obstacles getting in the way of pursuing their dream of playing in Koshien. And it's about how they overcome those obstacles, which are mostly interpersonal in nature. But it's a really good show for people that don't necessarily like sports, but really enjoy drama and complex characters.
So is this, because I know when it comes to sports, especially big sports like this, where they have a lot of different players, are they going through a lot of different characters in this show, or is it really just targeting the battery, which is the catcher and the pitcher?
So far, we've just only met the catcher and the pitcher and their families. So the pitcher's family has a younger brother and a mother and a father, and the younger brother is, he's not well, but he wants to play baseball and follow in his brother's footsteps, and so he has to reconcile the fact that his body can't handle the rigors of physical exertion with his desire to play baseball. And we haven't even met a single member of the baseball team because I think it takes place right before the school year starts, so it's in April. There are lots of really beautiful shots of sakura trees in this. And so he doesn't know what the condition of the school's team be at all. It's taking its time, setting the stage, and introducing us to all of the major players, pun intended, at the start.
And of course, this is during high school, right?
Yes, they're both freshmen.
Nick, you want to add anything?
I haven't watched it, right? We're still talking about Battery.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I was just messing with you.
I skimmed through the first episode and I went, Alex would like it, but not for me.
Back in the day, it seemed like all anime was about baseball. Now we have an anime about baseball. I've seen a few different types of baseball animes. There's Major, Cross Game. This other one with this wimpy pitcher that was always very timid and scared. Those are just really weird shows, but it always seems like they're always targeting the pitcher or the catcher. I kind of want to see a show that targets a different person for the whole series within the baseball team.
This is the Water Boy. Watch him do his job.
Maybe like the outfielder, how he just sits there, all by himself.
He'd probably be a philosopher.
Just maybe half of them be like a listless guy who just does nothing but relaxes out there, and when the ball finally comes, he doesn't know what to do.
Like, thwaps him in the face because he's not paying attention.
Just make it somewhat fun, besides always being the pitcher. I know he's the main character, or the star of the show, but I always wish they would change that a little bit. So would you recommend it?
I would. Yeah, so far I would.
I might check it out.
It seems to eschew a lot of the preconceptions of the genre, which is pretty cool.
I may check it out then. I did watch 4 seasons of Major, so I have some baseball knowledge under my belt. So thank you for that. Let's go ahead and move on to the next title. We'll be going through these kind of quick, I guess. Tales of the X.
Yeah, that's a Z, not an E. The cross, by the way. Like, X is usually a cross in things.
Wait, is that you said that's a Z?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
I'm actually playing the video game, so I'm curious to hear what your take on the show is, Nick.
Yeah.
So, I want to say something real quick, because I mentioned this last weekend, just in a private hangout we had, that when I saw this, I thought this was terrible, and I didn't want to watch any of this. And then when I took another chance, I actually liked it, but then I realized I skipped an episode. And that was episode 0, so this is actually one of those titles this season that starts with an episode 0.
So, I'm a particular fan of watching animations made from games, whether it be like a little dinky Android app or a full-on like PS4, Xbox, PC type adaptation. I like to try to see the elements of the gameplay that I used to play, like when I was a teenager, like just brought out in the animation. I'm like, can I figure out the game from the animation? However, I do want to at least say that UFO Table is handling this one, and they don't really skimp on battle animations or like particle effects. They are usually a little bit grandiose with them, and Tales of Zestria, it's not like poorly animated or anything, but I think UFO Table is doing 2 products this season, so I don't know if they're going to be like holding back any punches for like a finale or anything, because they also have the 3rd season of the Ilia thing. But I was really impressed with some of the battling that I've seen early off, but I don't know how consistent the battle animations are going to be throughout the rest of the series yet. So to give a little bit of like a synopsis as to what's kind of going on here, it's set in a world where there's almost like a level of Arthurian lore about um, uh, like humanity used to coexist with these beings known as like the seraphs or the seraphim or whatever the plural is on that. And since the ancient times, they've really lost their ability to perceive these other beings, if you will. There's also like a sword in the stone type legend that is present in this series. It's of course not Excalibur, but it does at least link in with like the Lady of the Lake connection. Like, so it's not calling it Excalibur, but it's totally Excalibur. um, the character who like pulls the sword will be known as a shepherd, and it's like an all-important person who's supposed to kind of right what is wrong with the world. And this is a world where malevolent energy kind of like can collect and create almost like demonic entities. So far translated as like hellions. I don't know exactly what the original Japanese term they might have used was, but so it's kind of like early off in the episode in the series, our main protagonist Sore. I don't know if this would like really be a spoiler or not. Because I don't even know like how to corroborate this with like what Jessica, where are you at with the story so far? Like, just out of curiosity, you're probably way past where this anime is right now, but like does this sound like all kinds of right or no?
Yeah, that sounds about right. I don't want to say exactly where I am because I don't want to spoil it for you, but
I
we
got you.
basically know that Saray is a shepherd,
Mm-hmm.
which, no surprises there.
Right.
And so where I am is I'm just going around righting all sorts of wrongs and shepherding sheep and stuff like that.
But not
Killing
like
lots
Mass
of
Effect,
things.
right? Yes. So Sore, I forgot to mention, seems to be the only person introduced to me yet who can fully perceive the Seraph, which is, I guess, kind of why he was able to pull the Excalibur-like sword. And although it's not clear to me yet, for I haven't watched the newest episode, but I have at least like watched up to 4 or something, and we usually wait till 3 for this stuff. But he, I guess, is able to merge with these like seraph beings, and that kind of like augments his combat abilities somehow. Like, it's not super clear to me right now, but I mean, it is. From the fight scenes that I've witnessed so far, it looks rather interesting, and it's, in my opinion, one of the nicer animes running this season right now. I usually like watching this thing. It's just so full of design, and like the characters are so not fluidly animated, but they're not really skimped out on either. So I don't know. Like, usually I like anything UFO Table does. So. But yeah, like until resolution, I don't know if I really have a whole lot more to say. He's a shepherd. He merges with the seraph so far, and he goes about trying to lessen all of the malevolence, as they like to call it, that the world has built up in the years since, I guess, the last shepherd was around. Like all the negative energy from like humanity and everything else. It is kind of interesting how it like affects the geography though, because that is like something here enough. It like takes over the land and causes, disastrous like bad weather, um, just kind of crazy things.
Hey, that's nice. Sorry, I had a visitor show up unannounced. um, I'm kind of agreeing with you, Nick, with the unsure about how these things go, because like it almost seems like even when he did merge or whatever that was,
Mm-hmm.
I'm wondering if it's like something that he only sees or if it's Everyone sees that too.
Yeah, like he goes through this like character design change, and I was wondering if everyone else was able to perceive that change as well. I wasn't clear on that yet myself. I don't know if they really.
In the game, people can see him when he changes, and they can
Okay.
see his powers, but they can't see the Seraphim.
Oh, okay. That's kind of cool. I was really curious about that because it almost seemed like there was just so much chaos going around that you couldn't really tell at that point. But
Well, like I knew people couldn't perceive the serif. I just didn't know if they're like, hey, what like you almost like needed the scene. Oh, why does that guy look different from like the onlookers or what's her name? Alicia almost probably should have said something about why'd you look so different, and like that would have been a lot more crystal clear. But Alicia is like a ruler of the continent that the sword and the stone rested on, and so far I don't know exactly like what that's going to spell out for her later, but the spirit of the sword and the stone, his name is Lila, and she has told us so far in the animation that Alicia has the ability to perceive the serif, but she's just not like there yet. So like sometimes she's able to share senses with Sore to at least hear their voices currently, but I think at some point later she might be able to be kind of like Sore and eventually just interact with guessing around. Like, they made the comment, so you got to think about it, in my opinion.
very fun show so far, but I'm actually very curious as to what happened at the very beginning because I skipped all that. Like, I don't know why episode 0 just, I don't know when I was watching it, something about it just, I couldn't watch it. Then once I saw episode 1, I was able to watch it, but it was surprisingly good. Sorry, I have a bunch of people walking through here for some reason. A lot of traffic. All right, do you guys want to go to the next title?
Sure.
Sure.
I had to look it up. I didn't know what we're talking about next. Okay, Cheer Danshi. Who chose this one?
Really?
Me.
I've only seen
What
the
to
first
say
episode.
about Cheer Danshi? It's nice that no one's in high school. It takes place in a college, so there's that. For some reason, some guy decides that it's his life's dream to start a men's cheerleading club, and he assembles a cast of very eccentric, like-minded men who decide to practice cheerleading, and that would be really cool, except that the animation for the cheerleading sequence is very skimpy. They animate the guy, running up to start the jump, and then there's a single picture with some speed lines, and then there's the end of the jump. Like, ta-da! I did it. So it's not very kinetic at all, which is a huge detriment for a show that relies on a sport to carry the weight of it through. So I'm very disappointed in this one because I expected better animation for this show than what we got. So since animation quality tends to go down as the season wears on, I'm less hopeful that this is going to be a watcher. I'm still going to keep up with it, though, just because it's such a weird subject and a sport that no one really knows much about. So there's that. But I'd have to wait to see the whole thing to see if it overcomes its obstacles before I recommend it to anybody.
The first episode of this, and I thought it was just really strange. But I almost wanted to continue it because of the comedy from that tall glasses guy. At the very
Oh
end, where he's
gosh,
like,
yeah,
heel
he's
touch, heel touch.
hysterical.
he almost made me want to watch this whole thing because I just want to see what other silly stuff he does.
He's a silly one.
But is it? Are they actually doing any cheering yet, or is it just still them building it up, trying to get people?
Yeah, well, it's kind of both. They have enough to compete now, and so they went to the college girls cheer practice and were completely blown away by the skill and the talent there. And so they got some pointers there. So almost every episode has them doing some cheering, but it's so limited in the animation that it's not fun to watch them, really. And so the crux of the enjoyment right now for me is their interactions in the group, which there's another guy that just has these really weird t-shirts that he wears all the time. I mean, he's a very handsome, attractive guy, and you'd expect him to have a modicum of fashion sense, but he doesn't. He has no fashion sense at all. And so he'll wear these strange t-shirts, and everyone's just, what the heck are you doing, buddy? So I'm not sure if it's based on anything or if it's an original property, but I am disappointed. I expected more from this one. And that's really all I have to say, I guess.
Let's go ahead and move on to the next title, which is actually kind of exotic. What is this called again? Maso Gakuen HXH. And I've noticed whenever there's a letter X letter, it tends to be very etchy.
Except when it comes to like Hunter X Hunter.
Oh, well, that's not a letter. That's a word X word.
But it's still like abbreviated HXH because like I told a friend to look up HXH and they'd find it and they just found like a Google list of like Hunter X Hunter stuff. I'm like, oh dang, that was a thing, I guess.
But there's that high school DxD and stuff like that. So.
And what else? Exactly. Anyway, to take over because I think he's a little bit busy at the moment. Maso Gakuen HXH is a really, it's like the H title of the season. You have the channel that's broadcasting the super censored version, and then you have ATX, which like airs later and tries to uncensor it. So you don't really have to wait for the Blu-rays necessarily. A lot of time the Blu-rays will like add in extra scenes that I don't usually go back and watch because I just want to get the story out of the way for the most part, whatever story there is present. But
yeah, this show is all about the story.
All about the plot. Yes. So Maso Gakuen HXH actually kind of has like almost like an Infinite Stratos take to it, where our main protagonist, what is his name? Is it the Hida Kizuna? I think it might. I don't know. Kizuna-kun. Yeah, that makes sense. Is equipped with this thing called, I believe, a heart hybrid gear or just a hybrid gear, whatever the term of it is. And that's actually kind of where I believe the HXH comes from, is the heart hybrid gears, I'm guessing. Because normally the naming semblance has something to do with it. But, so it's set in a world where we have like almost invaders from another dimension, and they're a lot better than us, and they're annihilating the world as we know it. So some scientific person makes up a new thing, like a Infinite Stratos-like suit that they, I guess, surgically implanted people or something, and well, huzzah, we have this fighting ability to combat the alien-like invaders. The one that kind of sets this apart, though, is the mech suits are actually kind of based off of bioenergy. That's actually what they call the hybrid energy or heart energy, something. That's kind of directly linked with your stamina. So it takes a long time for that stamina to recover, to replenish the suit. Like it's not just based off a battery. You just can't like return to base and charge up real quick. It's kind of like implanted within you, and your biology kind of powers the thing. So all I really know from watching the first few episodes was that our main character was equipped with a suit known as Eros, and he was quickly kicked out of like the whole academy scene because his suit was not very powerful at all. It was actually kind of known as the weakest one for whatever reason. And next thing he knows, years later, his sister, because I think his mother started this project as like the head scientist, but his sister is now carrying on, forces him to come back to the school, saying that he will be a student again because I guess they found a secret within the gear, Eros, and its ability to perform what was called a heart hybrid. And here's where the series gets its fan service on. The heart hybriding is kind of linked to I don't know. Tank, are you around? Do you want to take this one over or no? I don't want to say this.
Oh,
That bad, huh?
It's bad.
what would you talk about?
Okay, so when our main protagonist first arrives to the school, very soon after his arrival, an alien attack happens, and everyone's going to shelter, but he instead follows this girl who's going to combat them, or somehow gets dragged along with her. I forget. As she like activates hidden switches on like the geography of the land, weapon silos like pop out, and she starts using her suit that's low on power to combat the flying invaders in the sky who are trying to wipe out the city and probably the rest of the world. Although her suit doesn't have much power, so it's not long before she's grounded without power. As she's knocked out of the sky, our hero tries to rescue her. He equips his suit Eros, goes to midair to catch her, but he's weak, so he falls to the ground. Next thing he knows, his sister opens up like a video comm link, and she starts instructing him to basically start fondling the girl who's like unconscious on the ground. And she's saying, just do it, just do it. And he's all, why? Why do I have to do this? So he reluctantly listens to his sister, essentially fondles the person, and as she like half-consciously awakens while being fondled, that whole sequence is the heart hybriding. It almost seems like it's somewhat linked to like, my bad for saying, but the female orgasm. But once that's like achieved, the suits replenish energy much more than just kind of naturally waiting however long it takes for a full charge. So he's kind of able to instantly recharge people this way, and not necessarily the most proud of it himself. All I remember is in like the next scene, his sister's introducing him to like this predominantly female-dominated school. I think you have like some mixed co-ed stuff like in like the maintenance or like self-defense aspect, like more of a police force. But for the most part, the combatants seem to be all female, and his sister tells the whole school that the most elite of the suit fighters he is to be included in their unit, and he is going to be doing that stuff to save the world, which kind of gives him a really bad rep among most of the people, and I don't know, it's just weird.
Sure, let me continue on for you because
Sure. I'm a little flustered.
I just watched this yesterday, and I don't know why I decided to watch this. Something made me to watch it. But like you're saying, honestly, I don't think he was really reluctant to fondle her, but
just not used to it or something.
I thought it was hilarious that the sister told everyone that if you want to become the best, if you want to become strong enough, this is what you'd need to expect. It wasn't really. It was funny because the sister's telling everyone that
like the whole school.
If you
like,
want
literally.
to be really good, you're basically going to be subject to my brother. you're going to do whatever. He's going to do all this stuff to you, and I thought it was kind of. And the other funny thing was that the suits actually, his is Eros, but all the other ones just add a letter. So there's Zeros. I can't remember the other suits, but it just seems like they only add a letter. And
Yeah, like the OS suits are kind of really special for whatever reason. So I was gonna try to pull up their names if I could real quick, but
Yeah, and going
So there are
with
potentially 26 suits then?
who knows? Right now we
Is
only
it
have
based off? Oh.
yeah. Right now we only have three, and the biggest thing which he was talking about too was that they actually do call it when they reach that pinnacle, the strongest point, the climax.
Mhm.
It's when they get the special, special abilities um, and it's just so this show is just so weird in
It
so
is.
many different ways, and it almost seems like every single episode he's just fondling or bringing different girls to that higher point in a different way in each episode.
But it's kind of revealed later that, you know, while the sister is really like pushy with her point of view on how everything's supposed to work, she's rather conflicted herself. This is a kind of a minor spoiler, but an experiment was conducted by her mother, I guess, as to what would happen if someone ran out of that hybrid energy. Because like I think like when you're like below 5% like battery level, you can't even materialize the suit. Well, the question was raised: what happens if that goes to 0%? Because it is kind of directly related to your stamina, and pushing the suit to 0% actually fatally kills its wearer. It's like literally their pulse rate, their everything is tied to that stamina level. So as the energy level dwindles, you could even notice like the fatigue in the people, like they're really dizzy, they could barely stand. Um, so that's kind of the big detriment is these suits, discharge quickly, take forever to charge up. They could kill the wearer if things get bad, and you can always die in combat too. Like, the aliens have like these really advanced laser beamy weapons that are really bad. So there's a lot at stake here, and the sister, while she's kind of feels a little bit probably self-guilt for forcing all these people to do it, acknowledges like that this is really the only way to save the world, and they don't really have the time to wait around to try to find a better way. So, like, it's all in there. So,
Yeah, this show is special in its own little way.
in
Um,
its own little way.
yeah, but as you were talking about the HH, underneath it, it actually says hybrid heart.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
that's what the HH is. But
Heart's hybrid. It's the other way around. I don't care what it actually says in the title.
but yeah, basically the world is doomed. These people are saving it by using the power of the Eros. And yeah, if you just want to see a guy fondling a bunch of girls, this is your show.
That's pretty much what it's going to be about.
Yeah.
Some more interesting kind of spoilerish points that I could just say at this time, so you could skip it by at this moment if you are actually kind of interested in this thing. It is revealed by like episode 4 or so, or wherever I'm at, that after Eros kind of recharges the suit, a lot of the whoever like the female pilot he's with kind of enters a state of enhanced libido and kind of wants more. And if they go for a second round, if you will, he's able to supercharge the suit, which unlocks like the suit's. I forget. Do you remember what that thing was called? The something weapon? Like, it's not forbidden, but it's like the uninnocent weapon or something like that. I forget what it was called.
I think it was called immoral.
Yeah, that's immoral. The immoral weapon, which is like the super weapon. And for whatever reason, while I have personally only seen one immoral weapon thus far. I don't really know if all the other suits have it. I just assume they do. The main character's suit is able to take on the specs of the suit that it just like supercharged. So like he was flying around with the Zeros power for a while, and I thought that was like strange. Like, why make this weakest suit ever that when it gets supercharged too, it could like take on these like the specs of a normal other suit? Well, not normal, but like one of the more top tier other suits. And as like an intrigue point, one of the most like main female protagonists, the Chidori ga Fuji or Fuchi, Aine, seems like she is actually herself. One, she actually suffers from like amnesia, and when she did use the immoral weapon, some of her memories unlocked of this really crazy high-tech looking land, and we come to find out later that there was almost like a humanoid type being concealed in the army of all the invading aliens. So we're kind of led to believe that this white-haired main protagonist character is herself like one of the evil alien invaders, just she doesn't remember it. So yeah.
Yeah. So, Jessica, give it a try. It might be... No, you'll probably hate it, truthfully.
I don't think it's my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Just make sure you're playing it when you're like, husband like walks in on you watching anime.
Huh?
Yeah,
just make sure you're watching it when your husband walks in on you watching anime.
Oh gosh.
Yeah. This is definitely one of those shows for the first minute you want to have the volume down because it starts right off the bat with him and this girl. So, warning for those people who might want to try it out. Don't watch.
Don't have your like computer hooked up accidentally to the house's Bluetooth speakers.
Yeah.
Oh, dough.
Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the next title. We've talked about this one enough. Arslan Senki Fujin Labu, which I believe is the second season.
Yep.
And I haven't seen the first one. Actually, I think I saw part of the first one dubbed when I was at the convention, trying to waste time. So we'll hand it off to Jessica and Nick since they're watching it.
Okay, so this one takes place exactly where the first anime series left off, with the notable change being that the Shah, Andragoras, actually gets back to Peshawar, the fortress that Arslan had amassed his entire army at. And because Andragoras is an asshole, he accuses Arslan of fomenting rebellion because Arslan was leading an army and technically only the Shah can do that. So he exiles Arslan. Thanks very much, son, for, letting me take over all this territory that you got for me while I was in prison. And so Arslan and his gang go to a seaside city and begin the task of trying to recruit 50,000 men to bring back to Peshawar, because that is the term that Andragoras set so that Arslan can actually come back. And I think this season's only supposed to be 8 episodes, which we're 4 episodes in, and we have not recruited anywhere close to 50,000 guys. So
I didn't actually notice it was only 8 episodes. Wow.
I think ANN said it was only going to be 8.
Yeah, that's what I'm seeing too. Yeah.
I really like Arslan. I'm a big fan of the show. So, but this series is definitely only watchable if you've seen the previous one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it kind of came along and pulled the big punches. The king kind of like breaking out of prison and escaping on his own was a turnaround, and like as you said, the whole like basically exilement that he received was kind of like another big whammy. And the third one I got right now is the whole 8 episode cap. It's like and yeah, 4 is like I think they're probably just going to delay this thing to like a 3rd season. I just can't imagine like it's going to go like, and here's how we like amass 50,000 in 4 episodes.
Yeah, there's no way they can wrap it up in 8 episodes. No way.
So that kind of makes me kind of look forward to where the 2nd season's going to want to try to end things. But we'll wait to see, because I mean, I don't think any like new characters were really introduced until they got to the new seaside city. We have like 2 kind of semi-important prominent characters who are introduced there, but it mostly follows the core cast that the 1st season established. And yeah, this is probably just like a little mini arc thing.
All right, So shall we head to the next title?
Sure.
Yay! One of the best musicals ever. Show by Rock.
Musicals.
No, I'm just kidding. Actually, I don't think they play any music, which is kind of sad. I haven't seen any music.
No, they don't really sing or anything. So I actually kind of enjoyed the original Show by Rock. The thing that had the girl who was whisked away to through like the cell phone game to this magical alternative world thing, and she gains a new persona. She's still her same self, but through this new persona in this new world, she kind of learns to overcome her innate shy side, if you will. Like, she kind of builds up the courage throughout the whole thing, and it was just kind of an interesting spectacle of the whole 2D animation and then like the random like 3D CG fight scenes that were reminiscent of what I like consider Code Lyoko or whatever. Like it was just, it had that semblance of unique 2D animation alongside a different CG world that only existed for essentially combat. I don't really see a lot of animes do that, so that's kind of what I was kind of like watching this thing to see how well it was done, to see how well it achieved its premise. And at the end of that series, we have our main protagonist returning to her world, now more confident in her ability to make friends and play music, and that's kind of where it ends. So when the short was starting up, I was kind of like, oh, what's this going to be about? And kind of like, to my disappointment, it didn't pick up where the series left off at all. It literally is a short that could have been running, most likely semi alongside the original series. It just skips along and follows random cast of characters that the first season established, and it's just a little short series that has usually varying content between every episode. Most of them don't take the span of 2, but we do have one episodic one non-episodic one coming up here. Just, yeah, I don't know. There's like no music, there's no singing, there's no like CG combat. It's just a short series that they made for some reason.
So when I was watching it, it actually seemed like it was like a little talk show. The host is there introducing the different band members.
That was just the first episode.
Really? I
Yeah,
thought
like
wasn't the three the other team, whatever, and that the second time, and then there was the boy group.
Well, the boy group like had like a spa resort day, which they didn't have a talk show at all. There's been 2 like talk show episodes so far. Yeah, but like half of the other episodes haven't done that like talk showy thing yet.
Oh.
Maybe we'll have more of them, maybe not. But
Okay, I was just going based off of what I saw in the first 3, so I thought it seemed like it was more of a talk show, but I guess not.
yeah, like the first episode followed the core cast of characters, the Plasmagica band as it was known. Then the second episode followed the other band under the same label, the Shigan Crimsons or something like that. I don't know. And it followed them. And the third episode was another talk show episode that followed one of their rival bands under like a different label. And the fourth and fifth, by the looks of it right now, are just following like some random background characters that weren't actually in a band at all. So it's like varying the cast by like episode. It doesn't really have a strong focus on any one group so far. And I just kind of wish like we would have like a second season or something, like instead of I don't know like if this is supposed to redeem people's interest in the series or why they decided it would be like an interesting idea. Like I'm just kind of lost by it. Like to wait this long to make this, like, this thing came out probably not like a year ago, but somewhere around there-ish, getting there. I just don't know.
All right. That was Show by Rock short. I think these were really short, right? 8 minutes, 6 minutes, maybe?
I think the episode time is 5.
Yeah, 5. They were really short, so if you like Show by Rock, just want to waste some time, you can probably just pick that up real quick and then be like, yay. What was the next title? I'm sorry. Oh, this one. The unfortunately, what's his name? Albert. Sorry, Albert. Forgot your name for a second. Couldn't join us. He's out having a social life. How do you say it? Amanchu. Very, very fun show. Very unique. Enjoying parts of it. I just only find two things super annoying about it.
I
One,
can guess what those are.
yeah, one is the facial reactions from Picari, whatever her name is. They actually show up on some of the other characters every once in a while, but she has this really weird, cheap. I don't know. I don't want to call him chibi. Maybe super deformed face. And then her whoop up up sound effects that she's always doing. It reminds me of that poi stuff from that other show. And it drives me crazy. Care to tell us a little about it, Jessica?
Well, sure, I guess. It's primarily about diving and a friendship that blossoms between two girls that are both in their school's diving club. And the green-haired girl, Picari, is really into diving. She knows all about it already. She spends most of her time in the ocean or in the water in various forms. And the other girl, Teko, is very, very making new friends in this new school because of her shyness. She doesn't really care about that. She just wants friends and wants to spread the love of diving to everybody. The show is very, very beautiful. There are a lot of images that are exquisite, primarily pictures of them floating in the water with cherry blossoms all on the water. But like Tank was saying, the super deformed faces really distract. They're held for far too long. They're used in scenes that don't need them. Picari usually is super deformed when everyone else is not, and it makes her look like, I think Sean called her a Muppet. And yeah, that's really very precise. That's exactly what she looks like, is a Muppet. And it's a shame because the character designs are gorgeous. They've got lots of detail in the eyes. They remind me a lot of Tanemura Arana's artwork, but it's done by a different person. So I'm continuing to watch it because it is one of those healing anime that's nice and relaxing, but it definitely needs to tone down the super deformed stuff.
I believe it was Albert that did mention that this was actually written by the same people that did Aria, right?
Yeah, he did say that.
So, and it really does have that same kind of feel at some points, especially their school uniforms. The design is so similar to Aria at some points. But it's pretty interesting show.
I mean, I only watched it for the first episode, and I really do want to say that I honestly did give it up for the reason that I do agree that they look great when they're not super deformed, but is that like that what Peacocky, is she the green-haired one? Just so I'm on the same page.
Yeah.
She's like usually in that more than not, and
Mm-hmm.
that really rubbed me the wrong way. So I just went, I wasn't too enticed into the story about diving or like the friendship on this more rural-seeming school. So I just said, if I'm not that much in the story, is this thing just going to bother me too much? And I said, yeah, so I gave it up.
That's fair, because it is very distracting. super deformed stuff.
But I think what disappointed me mostly is that I did like the art of it when they weren't doing that, and it's like, so they were kind of like taunting me, like, with, here's the good artwork, but we're gonna give you this, and I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah. I'm probably still gonna keep on watching it. Probably not waiting for it every week. I'll probably wait for a batch and then watch it. Wait for a batch and watch it. That's the kind of thing this show seems to me. Excuse me. But the characters are all pretty fun, I think. Especially, I think they introduced the teacher, and she was a pretty cool teacher. And the thing I do like is that they're explaining some things that I think are very educational when it comes to diving, especially when they were talking about the pressure and stuff like that. So it is somewhat educational, but at least it's not full-blown educational where you're just getting a bunch of stuff that you're not really caring for, and they're making it fun. I kind of want to keep on watching it just to see where it goes because I really want to find more about the other characters, like the grandmother. She seemed like a pretty interesting character. Or if that was a grandmother, I can't remember who she was at the very beginning. And I want to see how they progress in scuba diving. I think that'd be fun. I can't remember, but I know Aria had some really good music. Did this show have any good music so far? It hasn't really stuck out to me yet.
It hasn't stuck out to me either.
I might have to rewatch it and see what kind of music they have, because I know shows like this tend to have really good soundtracks.
Is the composer the same as for Aria?
I have not looked into it, actually. I might have to check that out next. But, yeah. It's the healing anime of this season, at least, right?
Yep.
Here's the next title. Be Project Kudo Ambitious. What is this?
Why do I do this to myself? So, I guess I'll get right into it. This is one of those otome games turned anime, and oh gosh, I don't think I've seen a single good one of those. But anyway, the premise is that a young girl is a newly minted music assistant or talent assistant, and she goes to work with an agency that has an enormously large boy band. I think there's, 15 of the darn guys? Anyway, there's a lot of guys, and they're all split up into separate subgroups, so some of them work in a pair, some of them have a group where there are 6 of them. They all wear really stupid clothes, and there's just no substance to it whatsoever. It's kind of like the reverse harem. Well, it is a reverse harem, but it's not done in a particularly meaningful way. We know that she's going to be romanced by all of these guys. She has no personality because she's meant to be a stand-in for the viewer, and there's really no character development because all of the characters are one-dimensional in the first place. It is not very good. Not at all. I dropped it after 2 episodes because I decided to give it a fighting chance, but it wasn't even worth that.
So it's a show you're telling us to stay away from? Or
Stay away, yes.
not worth it?
Not at all. It really has no redeeming qualities, unlike the musical one, where at least it was a musical, but this one doesn't have that. I mean, there is music and songs, but they're largely forgettable pop tunes, and yeah, it just doesn't really have anything going for it.
You're talking about that Dance with Devils, right? Musical.
Yeah, yeah.
That was I don't know. That was awesome. I think
I
the way they
liked
presented
it.
it.
I did. I liked it. I thought some of the story was stupid, but they did a great job creating the mood, and there were other things to like about it, and so it was enjoyable. This is not enjoyable. It's like watching someone play an otome game. So you're not invested in it at all. You don't get to make any of the choices. You're just watching it play out, and that's got to be the most boring thing in the world. So I would not recommend this one at all.
Aw, Project B. Get canned. Well, let's go to the next one. This one actually is kind of weird. We got Danga Ropa. There's what? There's two versions, right?
Yeah, do you have the future title one first? Do the future one first.
I don't know. I can't read the rest of it. It just says here. Let me see. Is that different? No. Wait. Yeah. Wait. Which one's which?
I don't know, Mirai and Zetsubo. I guess.
So this is Zetsubo.
Okay, then do Mirai.
That one's Mirai.
Sure. Cool.
I can't really tell the difference.
Yeah, right, because I don't read kana. If only we had katakana, it would be easy. Mirai is like 3. Zetsubo is like a lot more.
So tell us how good this show is. I know Jessica, when we said something, she went, ah.
yeah. She's play the games. I'm like, well, I'm probably not going to do that, nor have I done it. So, I remember watching the first Danganronpa thing that came out on anime a while ago, and one of the big questions was, for what is the pink blood? And we spent so long answering that, and it was just I guess it was a self-censorship on the game maker manufacturer's part, or if it's not red like blood, then it's censored and we don't need to tone down on it. So that's still holding true, I guess, throughout the whole series. It's still present in this animation. And yeah, we are having 2 airing side by side. What is the deal? Well, I don't really know how many games are out there. This has a 3 in it, so I assume 3 of them, but I don't know. The next one has a 3 too, and it's 2 different shows. The end of the Mirai arc is pretty much what happens years later with the core cast of the first animation. And although I'll talk about it later, the prior one, the Zetsubo chapter, is kind of like the prequel to the whole animation product, or what's been animated thus far. So it's this is the sequel to the first season, and then at a later date, the prequel aired, and they are airing side by side, although this one does air first. And a lot of people are asking, well, will that ruin the series for me? And it seems like the consensus of the internet is, for the most part, no. They are their self-contained things, so you are getting introduced to the characters, and there are tie-ins character-wise, but knowing the results of one doesn't immediately ruin the events that are going to happen in the next series. So they are advising to watch them in the order that they air. That's fine. So that's just kind of what I'm doing. But yeah, so this is the sequel to the anime series, although I don't really know. I don't know. Jessica, how many games are there? Did you play them?
There are just 2.
Oh, okay.
The 3 for the anime is just it means that it's their 3rd Danganronpa project.
And did they just call the first one, and then these 2 just became 3 because there's 2 of them, or what?
Yeah, yeah. There's no second anime, but there is a second game.
Okay, so yeah, the events that transpire. I guess I don't know. If you have 3 animations, how do you just get 3 animations from 2 games, unless one of the events picked up? But this one kind of starts off with our main protagonist from the first series, that Naegi guy, the super high school level Hope dude from the first season. Although I'm not super clear on a lot of the terminologies of the series, because whenever they say a super high school level something, it just I guess someone with the ultimate talent in that field, and the whole high school aspect only means that I guess they're a high schooler. and a lot more of that was answered in the prequel, but I'll get there later. So I guess we start with events where individuals known as the Ultimate Despairs over some type of forte have really ravaged the world, and we have a counter-organization known as like the Super or Ultimate Hopes or whatever, and they're attempting to stop the Despairs from wreaking havoc. And Naegi is kind of put on. I guess it was discovered that he, I guess, protected two of his, I think they're prior classmates, I'm not sure at this time, just because I'm still like wrapping my head around all of what's going on right now. But he protected two of like the bad guys, the Ultimate Despairs, so now like the Ultimate Hopes don't really trust him. And they, I guess, like arrested him, brought him to their headquarters, and were going to question him. And the headquarters gets attacked by what I'm guessing is the Ultimate Despairs, and we have like a new like high school-esque death game start up, because the headquarters was supposed to be an overseas school built by like the organization that did the whole first season stuff. So like I guess the school never came about because of some big tragedy that happened, but they built their headquarters in what was going to be this other school. And once again, after like they got terrorist attacked inside the building, when they're coming to, Monokuma appears on a panel explaining how yet another like closed room locked death game is going to be taking place. They pit the Ultimate Hopes against each other. He explains that they've all been fitted with a bangle thing that injects poison under certain circumstances. The first being that at a certain time every day, it's going to administer a sleep drug, which is going to put everybody to sleep. Then it will administer an awakening drug to one individual. I think it's going to be specifically one all the time. I don't think it's going to randomly change amongst the group, but I'm just not 100% sure at this time. And they are going to be forced to kill one of the members who are all still currently alive. And after that, when everybody wakes up, they have to all decide, who's the bad guy, who killed who. And aside from that, their bangles also have a secondary function. Everybody has something called like an NG code, like a no good code or something, I don't know. They all have a restriction that they cannot perform, or the bangle will administer deadly poison to them and just kill them outright. Some of the examples that I've seen thus far were a character claiming that they could not turn right, they could only make left-hand turns. Naigi's is that he cannot run in hallways or it will kill him. One person was killed thus far. I will withhold their identity. They could not witness an act of violence, and after this all started happening, somebody punched somebody and their bangle killed the unrelated third party because they just witnessed the act. Some other codes that I remember off the top of my head are one person has they cannot be punched or kicked. If they take a punch or a kick, that's what will, I guess, kill them. And the whole point of it is do you tell people about what your weakness is or do you not? Naigi's usually using his as like a bargaining chip. He told everybody what he cannot do to try to put him on a level field and to say he has nothing to hide. But a lot of the other Ultimate Hopes are a lot more concerned with revealing what their single killing act thing is going to, the single thing that will kill them, what that restriction is. So that's pretty much the premise of this one so far.
Ooh. So did you just only talk about this one, or do I have to pull up the other title?
No, I haven't really talked about the other one at all, just the fact of it's taking place in a building that's being built during the prequel season, which I will talk about next. But it's like that building is now built, and this is where it's happening. That's like the only tie-in that I know, aside from the cast of characters who are present a little bit in the sequel, and all the, high school people who are in the actual anime that was kind of in the middle of all of this.
Okay, let's go to the next one then. I just noticed the building changed in the 3. So.
Yeah, it's not the overseas school. I didn't really realize that until you pointed it out, because I don't really look at the title thing.
So what about this one? What's this one?
So this is the prequel, and it doesn't. I'm not used to seeing anyone yet. It has a different cast of like ultimate skilled people who weren't in the original series as well as I remember and recall at least. It's pretty much about a school that collects kids of ultimate talent. You have like an ultimate gamer, an ultimate hopeful guy. You have an ultimate gangster, and just whatever their talent that they single-handedly excel in is what the school is looking for, and they amass all these students for some reason or another. And that's in the main campus. You also have a secondary campus where like rich kids can buy into, but they're not considered part of the main course. And a lot of the rich kids who are people who have special connections to the main ultimate skilled people, the super high school level, whatever their ultimate talent is, get locked in this school. And there's kind of a little bit, some characters really want to be considered to have an ultimate talent and they want to go to the main course. I'm not super far into this one. So far, there has been like really only 2 murders in it so far, and like it doesn't seem to be premised on a killing game yet. I don't know if it's going to get to it or if this one's really just going to ignore it all. But we're following a protagonistic character named. Give me a second here. No, that's not him. Oh, somebody for right now. Let's just call him somebody. So I guess it's Hajime Hinata, I guess, is the protagonist of this show. And he is kind of mingling with one of the super talented, specifically the gamer person, and it's just kind of so far vested in their banter about, like, talent's not everything, that's not all of what life's about, and, like, people's perspective on that. But I will admit, in the last episode that I watched, which was, like, episode 4, there is a seemingly ominous thing that's going to be happening. They're talking about making an artificial talent. So I'm almost wondering if they're going to like do some scientific alteration to this kid, and he's going to become the ultimate. Oh no, he's the ultimate hope. I said ultimate hope earlier, but one of them was ultimate luck, not hope. So I'm almost wondering if they're going to manufacture him into the character that is the Naigi-kun of the later 2 series, but at this time I'm not 100% sure. I just remember leaving off on the last episode, they were talking about some procedure to make an artificial super talent guy. So they're trying to actually make talent where talent was not previously there, I guess, in some way. That's all not clear to me yet. There hasn't been a lot of deaths so far. There could be a death gamey thing that starts up soon, but because that seems to be the theme of all of these things so far, or at least the other 2. But I haven't seen it get there yet, so I'm still going to be watching this one just a little bit. And I don't know if Jessica has like gaming knowledge that can supplement some of my crude explanations.
Not really. These seem to be completely different from the games, so I don't really have anything to add.
Okay, that's interesting.
Danganronpa. Watch it.
Watch it, Eustace.
Maybe. Well, that's what we have on the list for today, but we still have a lot of time, so let's go ahead and just add some random stuff. Yay. We got Anje. Whatever. Is that the title? That looks so weird. So, all I can say about at least the first 3 episodes is you got a lot of fighting. Some kind of reminds me of Strike Witches. They're flying around defeating these weird enemy entities that are also flying around. They're using special abilities, but it seems like what is it? They're all from like different planets or different dimensions.
Yeah,
and all these planets are coming together. And once they get together, it's going to just destroy everything. So that's why they're fighting, to prevent that. And I kind of forgot all about that because I swear it's at least for these first 3 episodes, it's just them in the bath talking to each other about how they want to get stronger, and then they go out and fight, and then
All
they're
right.
back in the bath.
Well, hang on. Will you let me interject real quick, or I just didn't know. There was like an important piece that I wanted to cover so far.
Oh, there's nothing important about this show.
Well, not really, but Jesus, let me say it. All right, so this anime is based off like one of those mobile like Android-y app card game deals, or maybe it actually is a card game but not an Android game, but it's based off some sort of card collecting game, mobile device based or not. And thinking about it, it does seem like it's actually taken from like an Android-y app, something that's like specific to Japan right now, and they haven't localized or will bring over here anytime soon. But like if Tank, if you remember playing the Valkyrie Crusade game like back in the day, how you had to like draw characters and you had a wide cast of like characters that were represented as cards, and you could individually train them, attempt to raise their rarity, stuff like that. A lot of that stuff is directly covered in this series. Like when we had the Rage of Bahamut, which just like used some of the characters and concocted its own story. This one actually enjoys calling out to the card game it's based off of. Like they have classifications for all the characters known as like C, UC, R, SR, EXR. And while they do have semblances, like they actually come up with what they stand for. I forgot what they were just because I didn't pull them off the screen. But it's totally hinting at like the common, uncommon, rare, super rare, extra rare rarity systems of all those card games, and how it's usually possible to advance the card in rarity. That's what our main protagonist wants to happen to herself. She's training extra hard so that she can raise to the next class. And I just liked that direct call out right there. And while you are kind of correct, there's a lot of like spa bathing in this one for some reason. Some of the other mechanics that I've been able to like pick up on is the explanation of like this portal appeared that like I guess connected 5 different worlds together in kind of like a Magic the Gathering style, where you had like planes that were separate from each other, but like they were all like colored. Like you have the white plane, the black plane, the red plane, the green plane, whatever. And that's, I guess, where a lot of these characters are coming from. And those worlds are like on a collision course with each other, and if they all collide, well, they all come to an end. I guess they have figured out that if they collect these people who have manifested certain powers, they are called, I guess, Exceed. And you know, like the main protagonist, the blue-haired girl, whatever her name is currently, Saya, I guess, or maybe that's not her. I don't know. Can command and bend light. So she typically like makes like a lightsaber for herself, but you know, she can also just like pull a magnifying glass out between her fingers and whatnot. Just her power is the ability to bend and manipulate light. It is explained that if they link up with something known as an alpha driver, they establish a link where their damage is kind of sent back to the link, so the link will take some of the damage for them, but you know, they have to feel it too, but they get a boost to their power. And I don't know if that's directly within the game. Like if you do have characters who have powers and then characters who could just actually form links with them, a lot of times there's like characters who, if they talk together, they like do develop a bond, but normally those are pure combat characters. It's not like 2 separate entities. So I'm like trying to figure out how this card game's played, and it does a really good job of explaining the various reasons of like, why are we doing this. Normally in those card like games like that, you would have to take all the extra copies of the characters that you had and use them as experience for a single character. That's not employed here. Instead, they have mock battles with each other all the time, and it's like a requirement for these characters to constantly be training, like at whatever facility they arrived from. And later we get an explanation that when they're training, they create an energy called like extra energy, and that energy is preventing the collision of all the worlds. So like as long as they keep mock sparring against each other, they will single-handedly stop the end of all worlds. And I just kind of, I'm like, I don't know if that was directly from the game or not, or if that was just the animators going, well, we probably should try to explain this thing like better than the game, or the game didn't have to explain it, but we will, because I haven't played it, so I really don't know. Just I liked a lot of those semblances, although it's not a strong animation. It's rather mediocre. I'm getting enjoyment out of it because I always like trying to play those types of games, and I'm enjoying seeing how they explain all that through the process that is animation. Although it's still not that great of a show.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, I forgot actually all about that card thing where they were using the UC,
Hmm.
the R's and stuff. She's like, I gotta become an R soon, or she wants to become stronger. I kind of forgot all about that.
Right.
But it's kind of interesting how it's going right now. At least by episode 3, they've already set up what the main problem is. Everyone's
Hmm.
going to the dark side. So
Right.
we know what's going to go on, how the story's going to progress now, and how they're going to grow. So at least it seems like they're trying to get a good story going. But I swear, just those first few episodes were really killer because of the lack of anything going on. Because I swear it was just mainly them walking around naked, all in the bath, going from one bath to the other, going, I want to get stronger. Then the other one's like, oh, you'll get stronger eventually. But no, I need to do it soon. And then they go to the next bath. Oh, what about you? Oh, I want to get stronger.
Yeah, I
So,
do. I do wonder how many rooms for like spas they have like dedicated to this like structure.
yeah, I mean, it's like they probably went to like 100 spas or hot baths or whatever and decided to add every single one of them into the show. And then, of course, you have that steam censorship that's going all over the place. So if you want to learn how to draw some steam, you can watch the show and pick up some notes. They got a lot of references here. But I kind of wish it would have started like where it is at episode 3 and gone forward. Because I think episode 3 right now is a good point for the story, if
Hmm.
there's going to be a decent story. So if you can't stomach it, maybe start from the halfway point of episode 2, because I think that's where it actually starts.
Yeah, I think so.
And then you can continue on, or else you're just really there for the fan service of them being in the bath and then
Yeah,
watching
but
these outrageous battles.
I almost wonder like how much longer that like is that just going to be a point throughout the whole animation to always show them like in like a hot bath somewhere because like some of them are happening like off scene in like the actual respective worlds too. Like in episode 3, it's not like everyone's back at the main headquarters, so like wherever our new opposition is based in, that's where the bathhouse has moved to. But it's just I almost wonder if it's gonna like try to get like serious at some point and start ignoring the bathing, or if that's just gonna be like a gimmick of this show. Like every episode, we're gonna have so many, and it's gonna be different every time.
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering about that. Like, I haven't seen past episode 3, so I can't say anything right now. They're probably on episode 5 by now, but I might give it one more episode to see if it changes at all. Hopefully it does. If not, I'm probably going to just. This is one of those cutting animes. You're not going to watch it at all. But let's go ahead and move on to the next title. Let's see what do we have here. What? I'm the only one watching this show. This is another title that I kind of wanted to talk about. Honda-kun. So this one was actually really weird, and I kind of made a funny comment about it. Episode 1 was it started off with these 3 characters, no 4 characters that were talking about Honda-kun, how great he is, how awesome he is, about how he's going to get an anime, and that they're all excited to watch the Honda-kun anime. But then all of a sudden, man, I can't really remember what happened through the turn of events, but they ended up making their own Honda-kun anime. I think because they missed the first episode when it aired. So then they started making their own Honda-kun anime, thinking of what it would be. And then eventually they get the anime, and basically you're watching anime within an anime, which was kind of crazy. And Honda-kun is just so strange. And last season we had that. Have you heard of Sakamoto or something like that?
Sakamoto desu ka?
Yes. So it's almost similar, but not really, because Sakamoto was just a character that was just excellent, could do anything, and conflicts happened, but then it turned it around where they ended up liking him. Well, Honda-kun is somewhat similar, which it's just really weird because instead he's this very outcasted person. He's very closed off. He doesn't want to be um, the center of attention, but for some reason, everyone views him as someone special, someone um, just something big. And then the people that have problems with him confront him, and through a certain turn of events, they somehow now see him in this great light of awe and like, wow, I never knew he was so great. But it's not really him doing anything. It's just they misinterpret certain things, and all of a sudden he's now this great guy, and it's just so over the top. But the events that are
Is
happening.
this? Oh, is this the spin-off from Barakamon?
I don't think so. I don't know Barakamon, so I couldn't tell you.
Yeah, you know Brock. I thought you knew Brockamon at least.
Well, I saw maybe the first 2 episodes or a few. That's the one where the
It's
wait, which one?
the calligraphy guy.
Oh wait, maybe this is. Yeah, I was thinking of something else. Sorry. Well, yeah, this is a calligraphy guy, Honda-kun. He's a big pro, or he's expected to be really good at calligraphy. But this show is just so strange and so weird, but I'm actually finding it really amusing and funny.
Yeah, I thought it was something else. I don't know what I was thinking it was. Maybe another anime. Is this the one where it like it drew like a schoolgirl with like a really big head in comparison with anyone else, or was that some other crappy
Yeah,
little thing?
that happened in one episode.
Oh.
Or maybe it actually continued to the second episode where he was getting confessed and that girl's a friend.
See, that's why I dropped it. I didn't really have a clue that it was like some sort of like a prequel to Barakamon with like antics such as that.
But this show is just so strange, and like at one point this girl, I swear, she's like, they see Honda-kun with this mature lady and they think that he's going out with her and everyone's kind of, I can't believe it, our Honda-kun's going out with this girl. No, everyone's all in despair. And this girl's going to commit suicide because of it. She's like, I can't believe, he was toying with me and everything. That's how she felt. And it's kind of funny because she actually does this musical piece in there. I always thought shows with musical pieces that sound like a musical are very funny and very entertaining. So if anything, you might want to check that out, Jessica. Just check out episode 3. That was kind of funny for that musical piece. But just through some chain of events, because he has his desk and he's talking to his desk, but she hears it and he's like, "Oh, my desk. I never realized how important you were. I I I can't believe that. I thought so little of you. But I just can't let you go." And as he's saying all this, he's talking to the desk, but she thinks he's talking to her. So she gives up on the whole suicide thing, and so it's just weird things that happen like that occur where he's not even trying to do anything, but everyone takes it and misinterprets it and thinks so great of him, which is kind of funny.
Yeah, I just like read the synopsis of it real quick, and it seems amongst the same lines of what you're saying. I had no clue it had any tie into Barakamon with like it doing like the weird stuff that it was doing. Because I just remember like seeing that character art design, and I went, "Oh, this show is like some kind of slapstick, not taking itself seriously comedy sketch routine." So I think I gave it up. I think I skimmed through episode 2 as well, and maybe just gave it up. But like I had no clue it had that correlation of being even like with a spin-off or whatever. Just so weird.
I didn't know it was a spinoff until Jessica just said it.
Yeah, like neither did I.
You're welcome.
I wonder how it'll end now. I'm finding it entertaining. I don't think it's for everyone though. So I would at least say check out from Yeah, just watch episode 1. If you can't get into it, you probably won't be able to get into the rest of it. But like I said, it's some of it is some kind of similar to La Sakamoto Des. So if you like that show, you might want to give this another chance too, because it was somewhat similar, but different. What other titles do we have? Anyone else want to say something real quick?
Uh,
Well, let's do this one since Rewrite, right? Everyone's watching Rewrite. It's one of the titles from Key that's released. And it's entertaining, but it's nothing like the previous titles, I would say. Rewrite had almost like a two-part episode, or a double-length episode for one, right? Where it was 45 minutes or so?
I don't
I
recall
haven't
it.
gotten there if it has.
Yeah, I don't think there was like a double feature first up, but it could have
I thought it
been.
was like 45 minutes or something, if I remembered correctly.
First episode.
I thought it was longer than the others. Maybe
I
I'm wrong. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Sorry. Here, let me pull that up. I'm really curious. I thought it was. It's been a while since I saw it, so. Rewrite episode 1, let me see. I'm opening it up. Yeah, 48 minutes. So it was double the length.
got you. I just didn't notice, I guess.
I guess I didn't either. That's weird.
Yeah, I thought it was longer when I was watching it, so that's why I assumed that. So Rewrite comes with a double the length episode 1, and pretty interesting. They've already introduced a lot of the characters within that first episode. And as we're going through, it seems that after episode 3, it's kind of targeting the different girls individually right now. We've already gone through, I think we were, 5 episodes, right? So we've gotten through 2 girls and what's going on with them. But all before that is just settings, them getting into the occult group, and the problems the main character's having with this ghost girl, so far as we've been referred to, right? We don't know if she's really a ghost or not, but that's what they're treating her as such. And then we also got introduced to Tomoko, which is the really cool
I
talisman.
like her.
And this show is just pretty interesting. The comedy's there. It has its moments, but as far as it being like a tearjerker, like any other Key thing, I honestly don't see it. So, um, but with the way the show is progressing, I'm kind of disappointed with it because it doesn't give you that really good attachment to the characters that you usually get. From what I've seen from other shows, the character development is usually a lot better, and in this one, I just don't see it as much. What about you guys?
Uh, I haven't really focused on that, and I mean, it's not the end of the show yet, so they could pull a hidden punch late on into the series. I could anticipate that, but I have my own vested interest that lies elsewhere in the series currently. So
I'm gonna trust in Key. They haven't gotten away with not making me cry so far, so I anticipate that it's gonna happen. It just might take a little while.
But Rewrite does bring back the Key coffee that we saw back in Angel Beats, so that was kind of cool. They have those key cans all over the place. But Rewrite, pretty interesting, pretty fun. I think a lot of people are watching this right now. or at least in our group. So
Do you know if the game got licensed?
that is a really good question. I don't know. I think they were working on it. I know the other title, Planetarium, is already out on Steam.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's what I'm thinking of.
So let me go ahead and pull that one up. There's Planetarium. That's also by um, Key, right? And that one's actually being released as a short. I think they're 15-minute episodes or so.
No, the planetarium's full length. I thought.
No, they're
No?
shorts. Yeah.
Hmm.
Or at least they're not full-length episodes. They're probably half an episode. And it's another thing from Key that's being released. And that game is actually on Steam, and you can buy that. I don't think it was that much. I remember it was pretty cheap. Maybe it was just on a sale. I think I only paid like around $15, $10 sometimes. But I remember when I went to a panel at one of the conventions, they also said that the game was really short. So it was like probably 8 to 9 hours gameplay or something they said. So I can understand why it's so short. And I've actually started playing the game a little bit to see how it follows along with the anime. And it's pretty fun. Um, Planetarium is pretty unique, and I'll have to say though, it's a show that can get really annoying fast with that robot girl and how she constantly talks and talks. Even the guy with main character is like, "Shut up," and she just kept on talking. But at least in the game, you had some inner dialogue that was going on while I talked about a few things where it made her quiet down. But when you're watching the anime, oh, she just talks and talks and talks. I know it's kind of crazy. Are any
Yeah,
of
I
you?
mean, I haven't played the game or anything, but I was just like kind of looking at the episode roster thing, and it's I don't know. I had full. At least I've been looking at some full 24-minute episodes, but it does list it as like a 18-minute duration. But I don't know if that's like it lopping out other runtime related stuff. But I don't know. I have a 24-minute episode currently, and that's like episode 5. But whatever. Anyway, uh, yeah. So I was kind of watching it, and I think my interest currently in the Planetarian project is um, kind of like how the character operates as a robot. How they try to make it appear to have like a broken data connection and like not fully understand like not verbal commands, but like our like when she's going through the city, she likes to do customer service, so she's always pointing out at like what buildings used to do as though they were like still fully functioning. And our main character guy is like, yeah, can you like not do that? We need to be walking right now. And then she's like, oh, okay, sure. And like 5 more steps. Oh, hey, look at this building. Um, so I was kind of really interested to see how they, with like an advanced robot that could walk around and has a lot of feedback from its various components, like how that would all come together, and I think that's what I'm mostly focusing on is watching it just because I like sci-fi stuff, so I'm all like, how do these guys think this android works? And at least they are kind of trying to like not make this perfectly conversational character who would a little more like Yui from Sword Art Online, the AI thing. It's like I think I think I'm liking this one a little bit better, but it's still like it's not as robot-y as I was kind of hoping. But
I'm a little behind, but as I was watching it, I thought it was pretty fun. I kind of want to see if that thing ever does get fixed and how it will look, how they'll present it in the anime. But um, Planetarium is unique. It's probably something that I'm going to continue watching. Like I said, it's only a half episode, so it's not that long. and it should be pretty easy to get into. Jessica, was there a reason you didn't pick this up, or?
No, it just somehow I missed it on my list of shows that I was going to follow.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
I will add it to my list.
Interesting. But what
And
other
instead of
titles?
dude, like a half episode would have to be like a 12-minute runtime. Like even on the site, it like says 18. Like it might be 3/4, but I swear it's been shaping up to like full runtime episodes.
Well, maybe it's just one of those shows that seems long as you watch it. It's like some of those full episodes where you're like, what, it's already over? No way, that was 23 minutes.
Kind of like how we didn't realize the double feature of like the first episode of Rewrite.
Yeah, so maybe this is just one of those shows that seems longer than it really is. So, how about we talk about a show that's terrible? Um, People out there watching anime, you might want to check out, what is that?
Oh, Qualidia?
Yeah.
The show that I could only stomach for 10 minutes?
Yeah, that one. That I don't have the. Oh, there it is. Quadilia Code. Yeah, that show. That show seemed like it was going to be so awesome for the first 5 minutes, and then it just went down.
So like if we're talking about horrible shows, Tank, tell them about that time traveling one you were watching.
Hey, that's not horrible. That one's very educational. But this show is just out. Okay, it's just not my cup of tea, I guess that you could say. I guess all these people were in like cryo sleep, right?
That's
And
all like not clear to me, yeah, so far.
it seems like that's how it was, and then all of a sudden they're waking up soon and stuff, and so people are waking up, and now they have these special abilities. I really can't say too much about this because all I know is it's a terrible show, and I was like, why am I still watching this? But there's
How many episodes did you watch? Just the one?
I saw 3 actually. I did see
Oh,
3.
goodness.
And there's like 3 different factions. So there's 3 different groups that are all living here, all training. They all seem to have like different abilities and stuff.
Oh, he got muted. So yeah, to continue his explanation, we do have characters who there was like some seemingly apocalyptic event that like befell the world, and for whatever reason, I do think the children were, as he said, like put into some kind of stasis, and for whatever reason, the children did exhibit what they called a seikai, or a world, and that was just an ability that was unique to them. And there's a not clearly defined rating system that kind of ranks all the individuals on their ability to use that power that is unique to them. And further, still more obscure, there's a lot more individuals who seemingly don't have a power that is unique, but are still able to use some form of power. So, kind of like the whole like flying broomstick unit thing. I don't know what was really going on there, but but yeah, I mean, I don't know. What is this thing doing? Go
Yeah,
ahead, Tank.
this show is terrible. That's all you need to know.
Well,
So it seems to target these 6 main students and maybe some of the teachers. There's the captain, and then there's the vice captain, I guess I want to call them right now. I don't know what their actual terms were. And they're leading their group to fight these enemies that are appearing and attacking them for some odd reason. I don't know why.
and just like the alternate dimension invader, like formula, that's like used at
Yeah.
least 3 more times in this season, but it's a common one, so it's not a fault line or anything.
Yeah, but the main character, he seems one of those cocky characters that I thought he was going to be kind of interesting and kind of cool, but he turned out just to be an ass, and I didn't like him at all. And I don't know.
He gets humbled in episode 4, if you wanted to know.
Okay, well, I just know in the first 3 episodes he was terrible. I didn't like him. He's all I'm the best. There's nothing better than me. I can defeat everyone on my own. Blah blah blah. And after a while, I was just like, shut up, man. So don't watch the show, whatever. I just wanted to bring that up. This is terrible.
Um,
Jessica says not to watch it, so believe me.
Yeah. Like I said, I couldn't even get through the first episode, so.
I'll be watching it to the resolution, I think. Something that I did want to bring up is something we talked about last season. Not that it was necessarily a bad show, but it just kind of sparked my memory when we were talking about that. We brought up that Regalia series and the three sacred stars.
Regalia? That was
Yeah,
talked about last time, right?
yeah, but there's been some new news since last time, so I was
Yeah.
going to bring up that.
If you're watching the show, you know those news.
Well, no, the Regalia show was talked about, and what was your all impressions of it? Did you have some?
Mecha
Gosh, I don't
lollies.
even remember.
Just
I think we talked about the CG aspect of with the machines was pretty
yeah.
interesting.
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember now.
And I just wanted to say that since that hangout happened like a week or two ago, it was announced that that show is being postponed. It's only going to release its 4th episode, and then they're discontinuing it, and they're going to wait till like next season or the season after, and they're going to reboot the thing from scratch because they felt that their quality wasn't up to par.
I heard
And
September.
yeah, well, I thought it was, I don't know, because I know that they're going to reboot from the first episode, I thought, and
No,
September wouldn't give them.
they're gonna rebroadcast the first 4
Uh-huh.
and then continue on where they left off after that.
Oh, I thought they were touching them all up.
I'll try and find the article. Let's see.
But, I did think that show was like a little convoluted, and I didn't know if they were trying to fix that aspect of it, or like it's so weird because like to me there wasn't a clear announcement of this is where we had fault with our show, like specifically this topic. But
So, I have a question actually for you, Nick.
sure.
And I'm changing the titles again. We'll get back to this one again once she gets the information. But you and your phone games and stuff, what did you think of Puzzles and Dragons X?
I've only checked out the first episode because I mean I did try the Puzzle and Dragon game like a long time ago, and I didn't really pick it up. It was just I prefer more anime art games, and Puzzle and Dragons was like not anime art. It would be like Pokemon comparison at best. And I just found that the gameplay was like kind of like the Bejeweled style, connect a line of matching color shape gem things, and that like powers the elemental attack of whatever you're lined up to attack with right now. And I just didn't really like those styles of games for the most part, just the mechanics in them. So I didn't play it for too long before I gave up on it. And I did only watch the first episode, and I did think it was going to be a rather subpar animation, just like I wasn't impressed with the game, but I do know it is a widely somewhat popular game. It had a lot of downloads, it had a lot of people playing it. So I did watch the first episode, and I was rather impressed with the direction they went with it, especially with like the visual effects and like the level of destruction that occurred within it. I was kind of impressed by, but on the whole, I still didn't really like it any more than I did. So I only kept it at the first episode. It was a show that I was going to continue watching.
So, what I found interesting about it was you could tell it's from a game, and a lot of the elements that are going on, the drops, they call them, that you have to collect them and line them up to make the attack stronger, is all there. And, of course, they're changing it for the anime aspect where But I'm actually kind of losing interest in the show now, as far as I've gotten. The beginning, the main character had a lot of mystery, a lot of things, and he was pretty unique, I thought. But now it seems he's become this generic character, and it's kind of sad. But he is going to try to train to become the whatever they call it, the Dragon Caller or whatever, and he's trying to go through the steps to do that, and that's been kind of boring. But, I kind of expected more from this, but I just wanted to know if you were following it since it was kind of based off of a game.
No, just because, again, like, I prefer more of the anime style games more so than just it being like a cell phone game. Like, I like, the anime-esque card, like what I call a CCG, character collecting game. And I mean, this is technically like a character collecting game too. Just there was one that I was that is going to be an anime soon. I know it's getting an adaptation, but I will talk about that when it happens, not now. That I played and liked. I lost my account on, so I went, oh well, that was fun.
So it looks like Jessica found the information.
Yeah, it's not very clear. It could go either way, really, depending on how you want to interpret it, unfortunately, so.
So we'll see when it comes up.
I guess so.
As for the last title I'll talk about, because...
What do you mean? It says the anime will restart on all television stations that are currently airing the show, although the new television will start again from the first episode.
Yeah, so does that mean they're going to replay the original 4, or are they completely redoing them? You see what I mean?
Yeah. The announcement, the planned and current quality. Yeah, I thought that they were just going to. Yeah, because it says due to the halt in the current broadcast, the Blu-ray and DVD release of the anime will be delayed. So I'm guessing they're going to actually change it, or I don't know, be delayed by 1 month. Maybe they aren't going to change it.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if a month is enough time to start reprinting discs with changed content if they're already printing them. I have no clue.
I don't either.
But this is just kind of strange because to me this is the first time since we've started doing OreAni that, I mean, we've had shows postponed before where they just stopped and then absolutely continued, but this was just kind of odder where they're it wasn't like a production issue like we've ran out of funding or we really got to hunker down and think about how we want to do these next few episodes. We didn't have enough time to get it done. This one was all, our planned quality and current didn't match, so it's if you're saying your planned quality is not where you want it to be, was that on your unfinished work, right? Is this much the same, or I guess the whole confusion is it actually going to be altered? Are they going to actually redo the first 4 episodes? Reusing much the same animation, but are scenes going to be added in, taken out, changed, altered, whatever?
Because the first few episodes, the quality was not bad, really.
So what I'm thinking of, it's kind of heading to that Wizards Barrister's show where it's really good, but then all of a sudden they have issues. So that's kind of what it looks to me. So I think they're just stopping that.
Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably have to check out the rebroadcast and just compare it to the first one just so I know. Yes, they changed something. No, they did not.
Well, let's go to the next one because I think this is a title a lot of... I know I'm dropping. Some other people have expressed that they might drop because it's too similar to a bunch of stuff, or at least it wasn't what they were expecting.
Oh, yeah.
So I know I've seen the first few and I thought it was going to be interesting, but then it just isn't going where I thought it would go. I know some people were thinking it was going to be the next
Shirobako.
Yeah, similar where they actually talked about the gaming industry or got more in depth in it, but it just seems to be another girls
Cute
group.
girls doing cute things. And that's kind of where I was too, is that I thought, oh sweet, the Shirobako of games, this is gonna rock. And come to find out, it was based off of a 4-koma manga, so the jokes and the skits and stuff are very short, and there's not a whole lot of continuity. So I talked it over on the last impromptu hangout, and I'm gonna drop this one. Did not meet expectations.
Are the characters, do you think they're interesting at all, or is it just because I know it didn't go where we expected, but do you think the characters were interesting at all?
I think so. The purple-haired girl was kind of interesting in that she's the newbie, and so there's that, Kohai senpai relationship going on, and there's one girl that's so shy she can't even talk to her coworkers unless it's on chat. And I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. But it wasn't enough to keep me hooked.
Yeah. I don't know. I was trying to watch it as well, and it was just, every day going by. There was nothing really amazing or something that made me go, whoa, that was awesome.
Mm-mm.
Even the comedy was kind of, I mean, it had some funny points, but it wasn't anything that hasn't been done before, I think. So I'm kind of sad about the new game. I know my friends are watching it. Hopefully they can tell me about it, but I'm just gonna have to not. I'm gonna say I'm gonna drop the show, but um, for the people who are watching this, we're not saying it's bad. You could definitely watch it. I can definitely see this catch on to a lot of different people. It's just that I don't think it's just where we were expecting. What about you, Nick?
I mean, I didn't really have expectations of it going in, so like, I saw that it was about making a video game, and I guess because I wasn't anticipating a Shirobako, that maybe that's what made it all right enough for me. I know the other show that I heard similar things on was that voice actor anime that people were hoping it would be the voice actor version of Shirobako, and it was just like a moe blob. Whatever that thing was called, I don't know, because I didn't watch that. In the first episode of that, the main character kind of really ticked me off with her, like, overzealous, like, unprecedented politeness. Like, I just didn't think it was super realistic at all. Like even if you're flustered and nervous, I don't think, like, to me, it wasn't also, like, cutely appealing or anything. Like, and in new games so far, it's not that I really like the characters or anything, it's just that maybe the comedy is just barely enough for it to be there, where I'm not, like, superly disliking it, but it's definitely not on my, lowest of the season. It's not an episode that I just, had an ending that I just really wanted to jump into the next episode because I wanted the story to really progress, but it's there, and I'll watch it. Yeah, not like really gonna recommend it to a whole bunch of people for that same reason of it's just not breaking new ground, and on the whole, like, super interesting, but I do kind of like situational humor a bit, and this show does it all right enough. So.
All right. Well, we're kind of ending, or no, we are ending actually.
Well,
So,
hang on. I just wanted to go back and re-bring up that Tales of Zest whatever it is.
Zestiria.
I did kind of mention that I thought UFO Table was doing two things this season, and I really forgot that anytime I see like a Fate project, I think of UFO Table, and I always forget for whatever reason that Silver Link is doing the Ilya show. Like, I don't even think UFO Table's helping out with like animation, but like some of their particle effects are pretty on par with what I know from UFO Table, so I think that's where I kind of lose that distinction a lot. Like the combat quality is just like one's not dismal, one's not super disappointing in comparison to the other. But also, I kind of forgot to mention that it actually has very funny. The show itself has very funny like previews for the next episode. They kind of break it down into the. I don't know if they took the art directly from the game, but they have the whole like game sequence where you have two character personas on the screen and they have the swap out for like facial poses and just expressions, and as the dialogue is written in at the bottom, you just have that whole like text range. So the season previews are like not right out of the game because of course the game's not talking about the next episode of anime, but it's kind of interesting how they pull that whole like visual novelty aspect of the game into the animation, just even as it's been done before, but it's just kind of nice. It's like I could see a little more setup of the game through the existence of this thing.
Okay. So that was it for the beginning of the spring thing. We'll see you guys at the end. Like Keith mentioned, there's a few other titles. There's D-Gray Man Hollow, Fate Stay Night, Ilya thingy, whatever. Saiki Kuso no Nan. I'm actually enjoying that one. I think that was pretty cool. Food Wars, it's got a second season. Taboo Tattoo is out there.
So that emblem, that little trident-y looking thing, that's Sai, by the way.
Sainan then.
Sainan.
Maho Shoujo's Magical Girls, yay. There's a bunch of other stuff out there for you guys.
Wait, did you just say yay to that Magical Girl show?
Yay.
Did you watch that?
No.
How did I not mention that as like a piece of crap of the season? I forgot all about that. That is totally like a piece of crap show.
So check us out again at the end of the season, and hopefully everyone will be there. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you,
You're welcome.
Nick.
Yeah.
And everyone else out there, read your light novels, have fun, watch anime, and put down Pokemon Go.
What?
Yeah, Jessica. No.
Yeah. Spend all your time on Pokemon Go for anime.
Or just get like two phones, one for Pokemon Go and one for watching anime. Well, yeah.
So, thank you guys, and thank you for that one viewer, whoever that is, been watching. And have a good night.